Hey you guys, today I haven't done a makeup video in a long time. I'm going to be showing you a really easy, natural, smoky eye. I'm going to put this out there first and foremost. I am no expert at makeup. It's something I've always loved to do, and for some reason, my friends have always been like, do my makeup. But I've never been to any classes. I've never taken any proper training. This is just what I've done that I feel like works for me. But that's what's fun about YouTube is you can share tricks that work with you and you can watch other videos and get to know, new techniques and learn about new products, etc. and hear a real insight from people who've tried them. Because that's what's hard to do is to spend money on something that you don't know is going to work with your skin, with your shade, with your color, your shape of your eyes, face, etc. So I'm going to be showing you guys things that I love that I just stick with because it works, and I'm all about finding stuff that works. So Kaylee and I went to the eye mats and we got some nice brushes. This is C433, one of my favorite brushes. I feel like this is the ultimate smoky eye blender. This is just an awesome brush. You don't even have to get this exact one. I don't even know the brand we bought it from. But it'll be in my eye mats vlog down below. But as long as it kind of has this shape where, see how it's kind of coming to a point, and it's a fluffier brush, this is going to be a good blending brush for that crease right in there. So I'll be using that today, as well as just a flat, just a flat brush. This one's by MAC, and this is number 282 SE. It's just very flat. And then I'll be using this is the same brush line as the first one I showed you, but it doesn't even have a number on it, but this is what it looks like. It's really little, and I use that for my eyeliner. And then I use this, I've had this Mary Kay brush forever, but I love it, just an angled brush. So nothing special, just 4 brushes. And then the palette I'm going to be using is a Smashbox holiday palette. I got to go to Smashbox and meet Lori, this amazing makeup pro artist. I have a video below. I'll leave that as a video response. And anyways, it has like inserts of different eyes that you can do. So if you've never done any makeup before, you don't have to worry, because they have behind this card, there's like 5 or 6 different eye looks that you can use. And then they have all the colors, obviously, and the names on top of the colors, which are really nice. So this is a Smashbox Studio Pop Eye Palette, and I'm pretty sure it was a holiday line. So anyways, I'm going to be using this today. So start off with just like a very neutral color. The one I'm going to be using is Vanilla, and you guys can tell I love it. I've been using it a lot. So we're just going to get that and pack it into our brush, and then start on the inside of the eye and kind of just mute the inside of the eye down and work up towards the brow. And again, this is a quick, natural, just smoky eye look. Don't get the word smoky confused with the color black or with the idea of going out or more dramatic. You can do a very natural smoky eye look, and it doesn't have to, I used to associate it with like girls who are going out and it's the ultimate black smoky eye, but smoky is just the technique. It's not about the color. So again, we're using Vanilla and just kind of packing that into the eye and working it up to that brow bone. Okay, and it's natural, so keep it, the lighter the better. Okay, and then next we are going to be using, what color do I want to use? Nutmeg. It's kind of this brownish, goldish color. I think it would be really pretty with my green eyes. And we're going to be taking this first brush I showed you guys and using that. So all I do, and you have to know your eye shape and kind of the structure of your eye, but if you guys can see like where the natural shadow is at or where my crease is at, that's where I'm going to be going, and I'm going to be going all the way across, starting there. So starting in that corner, keep an eye where that's at. So if you need to open your eye and then close it and stick your brush right there, it's a good indicator. And just kind of work along that line and blend in. Don't go too far over, and then just concentrate on going out, okay? And then you can close your eye. And then from there, you're going to take this where you end and kind of flip your brush and kind of work down towards that lash line and in a little bit. And just over those lashes and then back up to where you were. Okay, and then I just kind of take my finger and kind of smooth that all through there. Sorry, my computer. Like so. Okay, and see, I mean, it's really natural, but it just adds a little bit of depth to the eye, and it doesn't look super crazy like, girl, you going to the club. So this is the nutmeg and the vanilla. We're just blending that in and over. And then we're going to take a little bit of that and just go under our bottom lashes, our bottom lash line. Okay, like so. So very, very simple. Anybody can do this. It's not hard. And you can create your own colors. I like this color because it's kind of a brownish golden, so it is a little bit darker. But I feel like with my green eyes, it really makes that color just pop. My eyes are so crazy. They change colors, I swear. And then go back and do this one. So here's where the natural shadow's at. You take your brush and you just blend it over. And then you flip it and you go down towards that lash line. And honestly, you don't have to be a professional to master the smoky eye. Smoky isn't about being perfect. It's just kind of about making it work for your eye shape. And again, underneath those lashes. Okay, so we have the two colors. And if I wasn't, I mean, if I was in a quick hurry, this is what I would do. This kind of a look. It's harder to be quick on camera, but anyways, so there's that. Really, really simple. Then we're going to be taking this brush, this little compact brush, and I'm going to be using a dark brown. This one is just called Bark. I have to keep flipping that over because I forget the names. So we're going to be using this color right here, and it's called Bark. Taking this and getting some color on there, and then I start at, I start in the middle of my eyelid. I start at the end of my lash line and kind of just work down and kind of just pat that in there along the lashes. And then you take your angled brush after you're done and you kind of smooth that out. So we've put that one in there. Then we kind of take this one and we kind of just, with this angle going up on the top of our eye, work that down and then flip it this way, same thing. Just kind of pull that color across your lid and working up. And I need to fix that line this is a lot harder than I thought to do makeup into the camera. So just a little bit of liner, not a ton, because we're trying to go for a more natural look. Okay? And then if you want, it's up to you guys. I like a little bit of bottom liner just on my lash line, just to make my eyes a little more dramatic, like so. And then we go back over and do, of course, the other eye. Okay, so this little brush, I feel like just kind of packs that color in there. Oh my gosh, I did that again on that eye. I'm such a dum-dum. This just packs the color in there, and then you take your angled brush, brush going up, and you smooth that all in. Gives you a nice, pretty smoky eye effect. Or, you know, with your liner. You guys know what I'm talking about. Hello, computer. So line goes up. Okay, and then we just finish off with the bottom. And I just start on the outside and kind of work my way in. I just saw a lash I was trying to get, but just a tiny bit of liner on the bottom. So really that's it. Sometimes if you have extra time and you want to add a little something, I go back in with this color. It's called Champagne. It's one of my favorite colors. I believe CoverGirl makes one called Champagne. Yeah, it's CoverGirl. That's awesome, and it's always sold out. I just take that, this same packing brush, and I go right into this center part of the eye and just kind of highlight that area right there. So you pick up a little sparkle and then kind of just right underneath your brow bone. You want to add a little something, something. So just right in the middle, right here, and up just a tiny bit, and then right underneath your brows. So looks like so. Just very simple and natural and nothing like, whoa. But it makes you feel like a little bit polished, like you had some effort. And then of course you have to finish with mascara. This one is CarlieStylez by Lancome. I'm just gonna throw it on very quickly and poke my eye out so that you guys can all have some entertainment. But I always start at the bottom and then wiggle the brush and go up. Anyways, the CarlieStylez, you gotta get it. It's the ultimate best mascara and it's worth the purchase. And then I go up and over and I roll my brush, especially on the corners of those eyes if you're wanting to make them look a bit more dramatic. So there's that, and then this side so that I'm not uneven. P.S. I'm kneeling on my bathroom floor. That's how classy I keep it. And I put like a lamp over the top of my computer so I felt like I could give you guys better light. So I feel like I'm like a hobbit, like my arms are like pressed against the counter. So if I look awkward, that is why. Anyways, there you have it. So quick smoky eye, a little bit of mascara, a little bit of natural gloss, a little bit of don't wash your hair, you don't care, throw some little spirals in it, and there you go. Really quick and simple. Look, if you guys try this palette, let me know. I love all the colors. The thing with this palette is they look really pigmented, like I am not about to wipe that purple on my eye, but when you put them on, they blend really nicely and they give you a pretty shade without it being so pigmented, because sometimes that's a little bit scary. I'm not that type of girl that likes to rock the bright eye. But so if you guys are looking for some colors to kind of test your waters a little bit, but you don't want to go too overboard, this Smashbox palette is the way to go. I love it. And they're really easy to pack on the road instead of like all your tiny ones. I just slip this between like a pair of jeans or sweats. Yes, those are my lip marks. And they pack really nicely. Quote of the day I was going to do, but instead I think I'm going to inform you guys a little bit of what's going on in the life without sharing too much. I think I heard Cooper. Cooper, are you out there? No, it's just Molly. Molly, come here. Come say hi. You guys would die. She's getting so big. Molly, come here. Come here. And she's learning tricks. I want to show you guys, but I want her to master them yet. Look, say hi. Oh, there's Molly. Isn't she such a pretty little babe? Except for she has a problem with when we remember to go poo-poo outside. Huh, Molly? Okay. Anyways, so if you guys follow my life, or if you're new to the channel, be like, this girl is crazy. But one thing with my channel I want you guys to understand that I have to offer is just me being as real as I can for you guys and putting my life out there in a sense so that I feel like I'm not sharing too much, but I'm sharing real life experiences. I think in the world and the media, we have poor examples to look up to, or I think kids get a misconstrued conception of what life can really be like. And so with, all the reality shows going on. And so I'm not trying to offer reality TV on my YouTube. I'm just trying to offer, like, this is my real life, what I have to deal with, rain or shine. And some people might think it's dramatic. Some people might, whatever people are going to think, that's okay. You guys can have your opinions. You're welcome to have them. But on my channel, I try to give you guys tips and tricks as well as things that are going on in my life, so I feel like you guys can really relate with me and not just like, who is this girl behind the camera? And, what credit or what does she have to say about this or that? But I've gone through a lot. I have a lot of experience, good and bad, mostly good, mostly bad, who knows? But, okay, so I do the show called The Love Nest, and, I've dated a couple of people and put them on there. Kent was on The Love Nest, and I had my Bachelorette series with John, and I also put Steve on The Love Nest. And, where people are going to say, hey, you know, why do you feel like you need to put your love life out there? Every time you do, you guys break up. And it's so funny, you know, every relationship has problems, the good and the bad. And, you know, where I do put my life out there, I would rather put out the good because I feel like there is enough bad in the world. But sometimes when people get hurt and feelings and emotions are raw in those moments, it's easy through social media, through comment, whatever, to be like, oh, well, this is why it went wrong. And, you know, with John and I, it was just really, I think we jumped into it pretty quickly. We had a lot of pressure of like, and it was fun to believe it was gonna, you know, be something special. And not that it wasn't, you know, John, I have nothing bad to say about any of the guys I date. Obviously, they're all good guys. I'm not just gonna go try to date a bad guy. But everybody has positives and negatives towards them. We're human, right? I have positives and negatives to me. But with John, it was just like, I feel, really, I never meant to find anybody out of the show. I just was to get me dating again, because it was right after I had moved to LA. I was trying to get to know some more people in the area. And I thought, you know, this has never been done on YouTube before. Like, I want to have my own Bachelorette show. And it was kind of when The Bachelorette had started up again. And so I'm like, yeah, I mean, this all makes sense. I want to start dating again. I want to get to know people in the area. I'm really new here. It's never been done on YouTube. I could say I was the first one to do it. It's original. And it could be fun. It could be fun for the guys. It could be fun for me, like, whatever. So then when I did meet somebody from Idaho, from Boise, like, and we kind of had all these things, it was easy to get caught up in the moment, like, well, what if this worked out, and what if this lasted, and so I think John and I just kind of were naive, and just, you know, we had fun, and nothing was ever real serious. We dated for about 4.5 months, but he lived in Boise, and I lived in California, and it was hard to get back and forth, and I think the closer we got together, you know, there was never any big fights, but the more we realized that we just weren't, for the long run, compatible. Because when you get to, you know, my age, or, you know, the older you get, the more you can focus on the goals that you want in life. I want to be a mom. I want to have a husband. I want to have a family. And so where I've dated, you know, in my younger years to find experience of dating and just to have fun, I feel like I've had those experiences, and so I guess I'm dating to find somebody that I can maybe see myself with. That's the point of dating, right? Unless you're 14, you're not dating to marry, you're just dating to gain experience. I'm 25, I'm a single mom, like, I'm not just dating to get dinner or to get to know somebody. And it's not like I go on the date just like with my husband goggles on, being like, can you be my husband? That's not it. I definitely take things slow, because trust me, I've been through an awful, awful divorce, and that's the last thing I want to have to go through again. And so I pick and choose very carefully who I go on dates with. But the fact that I've shared them with everybody looks like I've dated a lot of people. So then, you know, John and I were like, hey, you know, the more that we got to know each other, the more we're like, yeah, this probably isn't going to work out for the future. You're great, I'm great. This wasn't ever a bad thing, but this just isn't for us. And so best of, you know, wishes to him. He's obviously a great guy. He's nice. You know, all those things. He's successful. He has a lot going for him. So whoever ends up with John, you know, good for you. I was grateful for what he did for me, and he was so nice to Cooper and my family. And, you know, it was always just like fun. We always had fun together. And then, you know, it was just weird right after I had kind of broke up with John. The things that I wanted to find in John, you know, not his fault, of course, just, you know, it's how we were raised, the things I was looking for, all of a sudden was presented to me with Kent. And where John and I wasn't like this dramatic breakup, I wasn't, you know, like neither one of us were walking away with broken hearts. We kind of were walking away with an optimistic view of somebody else that we could find in the future that we wanted. You know, it seemed like Kent was just kind of handed to me right there on the beach where I'm out doing Moms on the Loose. And so that was also hard not to be like, is this a sign? Is this what Heavenly Father wants for me? You know, because I'd been praying like, please let me open my heart again. Let me not be so guarded. Let me find somebody that's going to be good to me, that I can be good to. We share these things in common with. And so then Kent and I started dating. And of course, at first, there were so many things. It was like that movie Serendipity. There were so many things lining up that it was so hard for Kent and I as well not to get caught up in like, this is meant to be. Are we supposed to get married? And he's a Gemini, I'm a Gemini, and I think we're both just hopeless romantics and just big dreamers. And so, you know, when you put the both of us together, it was just always like, la 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 land. But when it came down to it and we had to, you know, things got more serious, we spent more time together, it was just like, obviously, like, this is, there's things that need to be fixed on both sides. And he was in dental school for 4 more years, and I have to be in Idaho, you know, because of, you know, my son's father lives here, and the custody is really difficult. And there were so many things the more serious we try to get, they were starting to make us go like this. And so, you know, it was hard because I felt like I grew close to John, and then, you know, that was great and that ended. But then as I met Kent, I even grew closer to Kent. And so it was even more scary. And so, you know, we both decided that, you know, maybe we should just take time. And while you're away and I'm away for the summer, I was doing choreography camps for different cheer teams. I didn't know if you guys knew that. And I was traveling a lot for the Mom Zoo, and he was starting dental school up. And so there's so many things that were just kind of pushing us apart. But the more time we spent apart, the more I felt like, you know, I could feel that he was a great guy. Obviously, I have the same things to say about him, but just not my great guy. And, you know, that's hard for people to hear because they always feel like, well, what did I do wrong? What did I give it you? And I never want to send that message to anybody, but sometimes you can be do everything right and it still not work out, but that's not your fault. It's just how things are supposed to work out. And that's kind of the sad story of Kent and I, which is sometimes I think hard for people to get over because they think there wasn't ever like real like closure. But I think you have to move forward with faith and knowing that you did the right thing and things happen for a reason. And so then, you know, him and I were really off and on in the summer. We're never fully, like, we had started to talk about, well, let's date and talk, but let's also date other people. And so, you know, I had known Steve for a long time, for 7 months before, you know, I had even met Kent, and we had been talking, and so that all happened. And anyways, just to kind of like, if you guys follow, we did do a love nest. I did put the video up, and then, you know, we were having a hard time. There's a lot of pressure with social media and, you know, putting a relationship out there and having people accept it. And, you know, the more that because I'm a lover, I really am. I wear my heart on my sleeve, and my comments and my videos, I just always try to feel like I'm hanging out with you. Like, we're right here. Like, I can touch you, you're right there, and I'm right here. I don't feel like I'm trying to portray this image. I just feel like I'm friends with the people who watch my videos. I try to comment back, and I feel like I get to know you guys, and I feel like I want you to get to know me, and so I do share these things in my life. Like, we're all friends, and we can all give each other relationship advice and etc. But Steve and I, you know, he has the same kind of job that I have, and it's just hard. There's a lot of social media involved that could get difficult in a relationship. There's distance, there's, you know, he lives in Boise. I live in Idaho. Boise's 3 hours away. Or I live in Idaho. He lives in Boise. If you didn't know, Boise is the capital of Idaho. I live in Pocatello. He lives in Boise. That's 3 hours away. But, you know, there's a lot of things. But something I kind of thought about, you know, we had gotten in a little bit of an argument. And I think we both let our pride come in. And we said some silly things on social media because we were hurting. And I think that was a huge life lesson to me. Somebody made a comment like, yeah, man, every time you have a guy in the love nest, something goes wrong. And I'm like, I feel like that's like the coincidence of it all. And so with Steve and I, you know, we're working on things where we don't want to make any claims because we feel bad. We feel like we let some people down. Some people, you know, this sweet guy said, you know, you guys gave me hope for a relationship, and we were like, hey, you know, like, we can't put ourselves out there if we're not totally stable, and we don't, you know, we're working through our issues. We both have had hard, difficult pasts, and I mean, he's great. Steve is, I don't even want to make any claims right now, but I'm just trying to, like, answer you guys. I've had so many different questions, like, what happened? Were you guys broken up? This or that? I saw him on Shay's vlog, and I'm just going to say this. We're really, really trying to work through things. Him and I decided that we both have our individual issues that we need to focus on and work on. And then we have our relationship issues. And we think that, you know, some of our problems are stemming from our past that we've never really healed from. And so we're doing our best to, you know, cope and heal. And I'm going to put this out there, and I might get a lot of hate for it, but the next time you guys see me putting up a video with a guy, it's going to be because it's gotten serious, and we have decided in that moment that we are going to be together forever, because I believe in that. I believe in eternal marriage, and I want that. And, you know, some of you are like, Carly, stop putting so much pressure on him. And that kind of opened my eyes. You know, I didn't ever mean to make any guy feel like, let's get married, let's have babies. But that's hard for me, because why is that bad for me to want that, to want to be married and to have a family? Look at my family. Look at my parents. Look how long they've been together. Look at Shane and Colette. Look at the family they have. Look at Case and Kaylee and the family they have. I just want that for myself, and I don't feel like I'm wrong for wanting that, but I feel like I do need to want those for the right reasons, and I do need to be in a healthy place before I can really want those things. I don't know why I get so emotional with you guys. I just know I'm supposed to be a mother, and I love to love, and I feel blessed when I can feel like I'm a wife taking care of my husband. I would do anything to have that family and to feel like I don't have to sit alone in church. I don't have to carry the groceries by myself, you know, just those things. Or like all the holidays, I'm always alone. And I don't want to be in a relationship because I can't be alone. I've been a single mom for 6 years alone. So trust me, one of my issues in a relationship is being too independent. So it's not like I'm one of those girls who just needs a man. But I'm ready for that step in my life where I find that companion and we can start sharing our lives together and our memories. But the good news is I'm about to turn 26. I'm not about to turn 80. I have a lot of time on my hands, and I'm so sorry. This is the longest bathroom confession I've ever had. But like I said, I want to be honest with you guys and share what's going on, and I need to stop touching my hair and itching my arms, but I just feel like I have a lot of pressure right now to say everything right and to make you guys understand. But I mean, if you don't, that's okay. I just want to be honest. I want to be honest with you guys, and that is what is going on. So, if I could give any advice to you guys, it would be this. Do not give up on love. Even if your heart has been ripped out and utterly shredded, you keep on going, because I promise you that love is out there. And love is out there because you can create your own love. And that's something I've also had to learn the hard way. Love is not perfect. It has to be worked on. Shay said this, I said this, it's on Pinterest everywhere. Love is a verb, it's an action, and you have to constantly fight for that every single day. And, you know, I was thinking that I needed this big checklist of what I needed a guy to do for me. And I'm like, who am I to say that you have to do all these things for me to love you? What am I doing for you to love me? You know? And so last night I was just kind of laying in bed thinking, I want to be that wife, that girlfriend, that girl, whoever I'm with, they feel lucky because I'm doing everything possible, physically, mentally, spiritually, to make you feel loved and that I love you, and that you feel like your life is better because you're loved by me. And that might sound kind of selfish, but it just makes sense. I think that we're all put on this earth to get better and to gain knowledge and to gain experience and to love and to feel happy. We're supposed to be creatures of happiness, and I think that the Almighty above us, He wants us to be happy, and He gives us things in our life to learn, and karma, the world, whatever. If we didn't have trials, we couldn't have success. We have to learn through the hard times, and just hang in there. If you're going through a broken heart, I'm so sorry. I'm going to do a separate video for that, but I just want you to know that you're loved and that it's going to get better, and it might suck really bad right now, and it might hurt the worst of your whole life, and you might feel like everything is over, but I promise you it's not over. Anyways, you guys like my makeup?